Yeah, good morning everyone. Yeah, good morning everyone. Okay, today we will discuss the topic of the static and non-static in Java. Okay, and also how can we take the dynamic inputs also. In the previous sessions of classes, we have discussed that the basic structure of the Java programming, how to install the JDK and how to install a IDE. Okay, and the thing of we have discussed the variables and the data types also, and also I giving a task on that, right? Today we are going to discuss the static and non-static variables and what is the actually static means and what was the actually non-static means, and after that we'll discuss the dynamic input reading. Okay, right, right. This is the project I am created for these sessions in the SRC. I can go with a another package. Normally when you are creating a package, right click on the src folder. Suppose if src folder is not exist in your Java project, then click on the directly on the project name, go to the new. You can see an option of package here, right? You can see a option of package here. In that you can mention the package anything. Suppose here I can mention com dot I think it is day 3, right? Day 4. Okay, com dot day 4. In this is the actually package contains the number of classes. Your class contains the methods and the main method. Every class will be one program here, right? New. In the new I can create a class, right? I have to mention, suppose you are clicking on a package, it will defaultly check take the package. If you are not, click on the right click on the package and directly click on the source, it will try to select it. Then you can select here by browse, right? I have to define the class name here. First I can define the static non-static. Okay, static non-static. Here itself only you can include that public static void main string args, or else you can write it your own self, right? Right, I already explained the what is the structure and what are the all terms in that. The static term is there, right? This is what we are discussing today. This and non-static, what it is, right? Normally static and non-static will be the applicable to the classes, variables and the methods also, right? First we are checking with the variables. Okay, static and non-static. Normally static means a class variables. Okay, static means class variables. Imagine the thing, suppose you are dealing with a college students, right? Every college student have the different names, okay, and the different courses and different age, right? But what is the same for them? College name, right? College name is same for them, right? It will be the class variable. That means the thing which is same for the entire class, same for the entire class. You observe the term entire class. If you are declaring a variable in a static, That means when you are loading the class, it will runs. Normally, the main method is a normal method, right? If you observe in a Java, execution starts from the main method, but ultimately this main method is also lies in a class. If you run any class method, you have to create object for that and call it, right? Suppose here take an example of this is one method void method one. Okay, it is my method. We'll discuss the methods in the next class. Void method means a block of code. Okay, it is non-static method. Suppose it is non-static method. Here I can write this out. The standard outdoor printer method one. I am printing it as a method one. Okay. Suppose if I want to execute this method one, how can I execute is? How can I execute is? I have to create object for this class. I have to create object for this class. Here it will be the data type. Okay, and s1 equals to new. This is the way of creating the object. This is the way of creating the object. Suppose s1 is the object here. By using this object reference, by using the object reference only, we can call that non-static method. Suppose s1 dot method 1. This is the way I have to call, right? Then only it will execute. Then only it will execute. The same way, this main is also a method, right? So I have to call that like s1 dot method or s2 dot method, right? S1 dot method or s2 dot method, like based on the object I have to call it. But what happened here, I never call this main method, right? Why? This is also a method, right? Simply like a here also I can mention the public. Both are the same, right? Public. The difference is only the static. The difference is only the static. Enter thing will be the name. This is like a main, this is like method one. The name is different. And a void public public, the static is the difference, right? Suppose if I run this, method one, it will print. I am calling this method, right? If you observe, then the difference between the main method and the method is the static keyword. Static keyword. Static keyword means it will be the class type. Static, when you are declaring a static for a variable or a block or a method, it will be a class container. It will lies in the class method or class area, right? Ah, then that is the difference. Why the main method runs without calling? Because of a static only. When you are declaring anything with a static, it will comes under the class area. Normally there are the two memory locations. One was the stack area, one was the heap area. In the stack area, there is a separate space for the class variables. Okay, normally in your JVM, right? Suppose think think it is a suppose think it is a one memory of your Java or JVM, memory of your JVM. Inside this there are the parts for the separation of the memory. Mainly there are the three parts of separation for the memory, right? It is called as a heap memory. Heap memory is like a what it called ROM, okay, ROM. And when you call for the, it was a stack. And another memory is there. We are calling it as a mm, meta space. All the static related things, right? Right. Suppose imagine that, right? Normally, imagine that this is your JVM memory. In that JVM memory, you have the three categorization of spaces. One was heap memory, one was the stack memory, and was the meta space or gen space. We are calling it as. This also comes under the stack only, but it is a separate. Why? Because the static and all the related things stores in this meta space. When you are loading a class, it will runs the first what are storing in the meta space. Your main method also stores in this meta space only. Okay, and in the heap memory what it stores is in the heap memory it will stores the objects, objects, literals, literals. And in the stack memory, what it stores is thread information, threads, normally threads. Everything will be one thread and thread information, threads information. Okay, in the meta space, static related all the things, all the fields, static related all the fields stores in the meta space. If you run or if you load a class into the JVM, it will execute first this meta space without creating any objects and without creating or without calling the methods. Okay, right? And the static variables and the static blocks and the static methods will store here. Your main method also stores in the meta space. Because of that, your main method will execute, right? In the same way, now we'll see how to access that static method. Suppose s1 is different, right? In the simple way, I can create also s2 and s2 dot method 1. Now s1 dot method 1 is different, s2 dot method 1 is different. The thing is same but different objects. Like suppose it is having the name and the age, we are passing the values to that person 1, person 2, person 3, like that. Person will be the object and the structure will be the class is simply like a blueprint of your object. Okay, you can better understand at the time of OOPS concept. For a while, you have to remember class contains the every information of your object. Okay, if you are creating object, that means every method and every variable in a class will be allocated for that object also. That means this method one allocated to the s1 and this method one allocated to the s2 also. If you are creating another object, it will allocate to that also, right? First, now we'll see class static variable. You can see first static variables and non-static variables. Okay, static variables. Suppose static. Normally, how can we declare a variable? In the SJ class, we see, right? Data type. Suppose I have to store the integer data type. Int is my data type and variable var1, right? And the value. My value will be the 100. Okay, value will be the 100, right? Suppose imagine the thing. Now it is a class variable, right? Understand the term class variable. Static, all the things are class instances. So it is a class variable. Then how can I access in my main method? How can I access in my main method? How can I access it in my main method? By using the class name. What is my class name? It is my class name, right? Control C, Control V. Dot var 1. Okay, always class variables you can access by using the class name only. Class variables or the class methods or the static blocks. Okay, and the thing is, another thing is, okay, right? Suppose non-static method, non-static variable. Suppose same int var2. It is non-static variable 101. Okay, uh, then how can I access this var2? It is non-static variable. Above one is static variable. The static variables you can access in the, suppose, right? The static variable is same for the s1 and s2. Imagine the term. The static variable what we are declaring, it is same for the s1 and s2. Okay, suppose why you have to believe. Okay, right? Suppose I am not assigning any value here, right? Okay, I am not assigning any value for the static int var1. I am assigning in the main method. Okay, here hmm, by using this I have to call, right? So control C, control V. I am assigning to the class variable var1 equals to 120. Okay, 120 I am assigning. Okay, right? Suppose if I print static non-static with var1, then it will print 120. Why? I am assigning value here. That value is same for the s1 object and s2 object. Okay, suppose observe the thing here. Mm, if I write the s1 dot int here, also for the var2 also I am not assigning any value. Simply s1 dot var2 equals to s1 dot var2 equals to 503. Okay, s1 dot var2 equal to 503. s2 dot var2 equals to 504. Okay, suppose if I print s1 dot var1, sorry, s1 dot var2, right? System dot, like the same way, s2 dot var2. Okay, s2 dot var2, s1 dot var2 I am assigning with the 503, s2 dot var2 I am assigning with the 504. This var2 is non-static variable. Non-static variable. Save it and run the file. 504 120, and okay, 503 goes the up. Method 1 503. Wait, method 1 503 504 120, right? These two are the separate object variables. That means this var2 is only one time I am declared, but it was different for s1 object and it is different for s2 object. Also this method 1 also I am declared one time, but it is different for s1 object and also s2 object. That means what you understand, non-static variables and the methods or the blocks will be varies, depends on objects. That means it will separate for the every object, but static things are same for the every object. Okay, by this you are differentiate that, right? Suppose if I try to access that var1 also the object thing, I will sometime I am consider like it is a var1 is also object reference. I'll try to access it by of s1 dot var1. Suppose I'll try to access it s1 dot var1. Then right, s1 dot var1 it will print okay, I'm not runner. 503 504 120 and 120. Suppose if I print s2 dot var1, okay, s2 dot var1, then 120 120 for the same, for the different objects also var1 is same, the same way. If I try to modify the var1 with a object, right, s1 dot var1, okay, again s2 dot var1 equals to 150. 150. Okay, 150, right? Now if I print here, what is the value and what is the value here and what is the value a, this already we discussed, right? Here it will be 503 and here it will be the 504, and now what here it will be the value. You can comment in a Google Meet. Okay, what will be the value here? Okay, meanwhile I run it. If you observe, it will go with the 150 and 150. Why? Initially I am, by using the s1 object, I am assigning the static variable with the 120, but it, this 120 was override by 150 again. Why? This var1 is static variable, it will refers to the entire class. Because of that, it is same, it will be the 120 or it will be the 150. What is the last one we are updated for the static variable, it will take for the all objects or all classes, right? Right. Right. This is the static variables we are seeing, right? Now we'll see that static methods. Okay, static methods. Before going to the methods, we'll see that blocks, static blocks, right? For that, I'll create another one. Okay, another class for the static methods. Right click on the package, go to the new, click on the class, static, non-static methods. Suppose if I giving simply static and non-static, it will take type already exists. Why? Because within the package only it allows single time every class name. Okay, already I declared the static and non-static class name before. Because of that, it will not takes. Why? Because all the packages in the so that means all the classes in the same package, right? That means if all the one two files with the same name, then how can it find it is a unique if I run it? Because of that, you have to give the unique names in the same package. Okay, first we'll see the blocks. Click on finish. right? Now static block means what the content you can write between two braces, it will take it as a block. Okay, suppose if I write something here, so of hello wall, okay, hello non-static, right? It is simply like a default constructor and static block, right? This out, hello static. uh, if I run this, what will be happen? Only it will print the static block. That means static instances will be load when you are loading the class file. Static instances will be load when you are loading the class files. No need to call it. Okay. So the static block statements will execute when you are loading the class, right? But this non-static will be executed. This non-static block will be executed when you are creating an object for this class. If you are creating object means it you are calling this class, right? Simply control C, control S1 equals to new, right? If I run this, if I run this, what it do? First it will print a hello static. Why? Because at the time of class load it will execute. After that it will comes to the main method. In the main method it will execute or it will create the object. At the time of object creation it will call this non-static block. Okay, it is not method, it is block. Block is different, method is different. If you are assigning any name to the block it will be the method. If you are not assigning any name to the method it will be the block, right? And this is the blocks. Simply you can mention what the thing you have to write in the statements. You can mention the static, it will load non-static. You have to observe the difference between static and the non-static. Simply static will be the class instances and non-static will be the object instances. That means it is different for every object, but the static things were same for the every object. Clear, right? After that I can go with the methods. The same, right? Here only you can see the methods. Suppose if I creating a name to this static method, okay, static method, I have to mention return type for every method. Okay, return type for every method. Okay, and normal method is, okay, it is the method. We are assigning name to a block, it will be the method, right? This method will, we have to call it, right? So s1 dot s1 dot method 2 for non-static instances you can call by using the object reference. We are calling this as a object reference or object variable. Okay, method 2. Suppose you want to call the non-static method, that means static method. How can you call it? Is static variables. How can we call static variables? Call by using the class name, right? Likewise we can call the non-stat, that means static methods also by using the class name. What is my class name here? Static and non-static blocks, right? Control C and control V dot, if you observe what are the things I have? Static dot class, it will return the mm, what it is address of the your class store, and main method will returns or runs, and static method, right? Like this way you have to call by using the class main. You have to blindly remember one thing. The thing is static things are called by using the class name. Object references or object instances you can call by using the object, or non-static things you can call by using the object, or access, right? If I run it, hello non-static, hello static, right? This is the static and the non-static. Okay. Hmm. suppose suppose now my query is suppose now my query is uh, I want to print the hello world, right? Suppose interviewer asks you like you can print the hello world program, right? But not write a single statement inside the main method, not write a single statement inside the main method. Then how can I write it? Suppose you want to print the hello world, but you are not allowed to write a single line of statement in under the main method. But we know that the main method is the only entry point. We have to run anything, right? Then we already discussed the previously, right? By using the static block, you can write simply in a static, right? You are not writing any single line of main method. Suppose if I remove this main method, then I'll observe main method not found. If run or not, if you are writing any statements or not, but you have to include main method inside your class to start the execution, right? That's why I show to you, right? It will print, but I am not writing any single line of statement under the main method, right? That's the thing. Okay. Next, we will go with the dynamic input reading. How can we read the dynamic inputs? Go to the new class. I am just creating the class. I am not writing any main method. Then I can write the main method public static void main of string args. Okay, right? Now the thing is, normally suppose you are assigning any value to the variable. How can you assign? Suppose I have to assign string name equals to ram. Okay, name equals to ram, and I have to print this out name. If I run this program, what will be my output? Ram, right? Ram. Ram will be out. Suppose again I will run, what will be my output? Declaring the value. We are calling it as a compile time declaration or the fixed declaration, right? But we have to not prefer this. Always you are preferring the dynamic input reading. That means for the every time when you are running a program, you have to take the input from the user, right? You have to take the input from the user. That's the thing. Suppose, how can I take the dynamic inputs? We have the different data types, right? What are the major different types we have? The integer, float, decimal, integer, float to double, short, character, long, like that, right? Then how can we read different data types? We'll see that, right? I can declare int a is my variable, right? Int a is my variable. I am not assigning any value to that. Then how can I read it is? For reading a dynamic inputs, one fixed class is there. We are calling it as a scanner class. Scanner class, sc. That means we are creating one object. If class is there, if you want to access the class methods, you have to create a object for that. In the previous course also we are seeing that, right? Suppose you want to access this non-static, what it is, if you want to access this method one of the static class, you are creating object, and by using the object only you are calling that, right? the same way the same way the scanner is the built-in class. That class method you have to access, you have to create the object. So s1, any object name, it will take s2, sc, anything. I can simply take sc for a name convention. And a new means creating the object, okay? As a scanner scanner system dot in, okay? uh, when you are importing the pre-built classes, you have to import it, the scanner class, under the java.util.package, okay? So you can import here by using import statement, import java dot util dot star. You can just simply place star, then it will get the all related classes and all. Suppose you want to include only scanner, then scanner class only it will come, okay? Right. Then what is the system dot in? Suppose if you observe here also we can use the system, right? It is a predefined class, and here we are using the output stream, but here we are using the input stream, im. The yesterday class also, when I am explaining the structure, I am saying that what is system and what is out, what is println. System dot in is the input stream, o is output is the output stream, right? We are passing it as a parameter, and suppose if you run it, and I have to print it, right? Otherwise I can't find, right? Sys out of reading number, right? Right. But I am not I am declaring the variable, but I am not assigning any value to that, right? How can I read the integer values? A equals to sc dot, that means object reference dot integers. Integer values you can write by using the next int, okay? Next int, integer values you can read by using the next int, okay? Control S and run the file. RAM it will print, right? This is the execution flow. Here it will come, but I don't know, right? So I can enter a value of 13. Reading number will be the 13, right? But I am not aware about I have to enter a value, right? For that, what you have to do is you can write one statement about the reading, like print statement to enter. So enter number to read, number to read. Okay, there is a two methods, println and print. If you write print, it will comes to the only in a single line. If you write println, it will comes to the new line. That is the difference. Suppose if I run this again, the static whatever we are declaring in a compile time, it will be the same for the every time you can run. Again it will comes the ram, that means ram, ram, enter a number to read, right? Enter a number to read. So I can say I can read the value of 54, where it will reach in the new line, right? Where it will reach in the new line, reading number 54, right? The same way, suppose if I place here print only, it will takes in the same line, not comes to the new line. Right, it will takes in the new same line only, not in the new line. Why? Because I am using the print, right? So it will takes in the new line, uh, in the same line, not goes to the new line. Okay, right, it is the way of reading the integer. Suppose you want to read the string. Okay, okay, suppose my intent to read float, then sc dot, normally I can see what are the methods I have. Float, by using the float you can call it. I'll do one thing, float f, right, right, uh, the same way I can go for the short. Here I can take as a short. Yes, yes, for the short how can I read it as a short? Next dot short. Okay, next dot short. Here I have to print yes. Okay, the same way for the long, long you can take l, l. Here I can go with the next to long. Okay, here I can print l. Again I'll read the double. Okay, double d and sc dot next double. What are the data type you mentioned here? You can use it. You have to use that. Right, d, and here also d. Okay. Next thing, double, long double. Next string. Okay. Suppose char, right? For the char, it will be the different. Okay. Sc dot next ch equal to sc dot next. Change type to the char, right? So right? CH1 and CH2, there are the two types of next line methods. That means for reading the strings you have the two types. We can check what are those and what are the difference between them. Suppose control V, next sc dot next. Okay, I think for the character char is there, right? And for reading the character, right? So char, here I can check. Okay, we'll check it. Suppose you want to read the boolean. Suppose you want to read the boolean, then next bool. Majorly we are focusing on these integer types, double types, float types, and the character types. We have the boolean data type also. You have to read the boolean. So bool. Next, suppose first we'll run this. Okay, we all the names are the same, right? That's the difference. Okay, RAM will be print first. Why? Because we are assigning the compile time declaration to that, right? RAM. Enter number to read. Suppose I think it was a float, right? Suppose I can enter the 12. It will take it as a float of 12.0, right? In the same way here, I think it was a double. Here I can go with the input mismatch. What the value I declared? Okay, I think a short I am declared. Float. After that I am declared the short. Because of that I am not aware about it. Okay, we have to change the text, then it will better understand to us. Okay, suppose enter a number to read 12, 12.0. Enter a number to read. If I go with the 23, 23 will be read. Why? Because it was a short, right? Suppose I'll go with the long number, and suppose I think it was the float. Okay, 40.0 it will take. If I enter any number, then it will come. Okay, ah, if you observe, enter a number to read, but it will comes to reading a number print. You observe here, enter a number to read. What is the line here? I think after the double, double after double. What is that? I am using the next line, right? After double, I am entering the next line, right? It will takes a single space, also a character. So without entering you anything, it will take it as. Why? Because if you are writing the print right here, print, because of that it will takes the space, empty space, as a character. Suppose if I enter here something, if you are using the next QWERTY, reading a number QWERTY, it will print. Where it is? Right. Everything will be print. Enter a number to read. Suppose it will be comes as a text to that. Okay. Where it is, all will finish. All are finished. We are saying separately that character things. Then it will understand to you. Right. Suppose I have a string str is my string. I can read this out of println enter string. Okay. In that I can read str equals to sc dot sc dot next. I'll go with the next. If you observe here, next big decimal, next byte, next double, what are things you have here? Next boolean, next byte, next double, next float, next int radix, next long, next short, as next, has next. These are we are using at the while and all. It's different thing. The next with the next, those are the things, right? Simply for the next. First I am using only the next. Okay, and I'll try to print it. This out of mm, str. Okay, that str I have to print here. Enter string, right? I have to enter the string. But it will take, right? uh, I'll do one thing. Okay, if I enter mm, enter string, it will be right. Suppose if I change this to the next line. Okay, next line. What it takes? Enter string as a 41. Normally the next line will take the single space of character also. Suppose if you directly enter the enter here. Suppose if I run this again. Normally next and next line is different, nothing but next only takes the, suppose here the next is there, right? I have to place QWERTY space u. What it print? QWERTY space u, right? For the next line I am doing it for the next line. Suppose the same thing I can do it for next. I'm changing this, right? I'll stop the execution. I'll run this again. Now I check this first. Next. What it takes? QWERTY only. Why it not takes hello? The SC next take the space as a end character. so it will not allow the space to read. The next line can allow the space to read. That is the thing you are have to observe. Okay, right? It is the suppose if I write simply here print in place of println. Okay, if I simply write print in place of println, right? Suppose I'm go with this also. Right? That means you have to observe the one thing here. Next line takes the spaces also. Next not take the spaces. Okay, this is the we can conclude. You have to read the always dynamic inputs when I am giving the task to you. Okay, not assigning any direct values to that. Right. Okay, we end up this session with this.